Okay, so we're going to start by taking a tour of the Arizona Department of Corrections, which you can see by this map is actually made up of several autonomous complexes strewn throughout the state. Houses about 42,200 inmates, 14 complexes with about 48 housing units. First stop is way down in the southeast corner of the state, which is ASPC Douglas, about 225 miles away from Phoenix, 2,100 plus or minus inmates. Iman, which is in the town of Florence. There's several in the town of Florence. It's about 68 miles away from Phoenix. It's a big one. It's about 4,544 inmates currently. ASPC Florence, which is right next door in the town of Florence, 67 miles away from Phoenix. Another plus or minus 3,900 inmates. ASPC Kingman, way up in the northwest corner of the state, 209 miles from Phoenix, about 3,500 inmates. ASPC Lewis, which is about 48 miles due west of Phoenix, about 5,000 inmates at that facility. That's a big one. Here's ASPC Perryville, which is all-female unit, 25 miles west of Phoenix, about 4,400 inmates. ASPC Phoenix, which is right at downtown at 24th Street in Van Buren. It's got about 1,000 inmates at any given time. That's intake, where you come in from the county jails. ASPC Safford, which is southeast of Phoenix, about 176 miles. It's about 1,700 inmates plus or minus. ASPC Tucson, that's a very large complex down in Tucson on Wilmot Road, 4,350 inmates, about 130 miles south of Phoenix. Winslow, northeast of Phoenix, about 184 miles, and 1,928 inmates, 4 different housing units. ASPC Yuma, way down in the southwest corner, right on the Mexico border, really, in San Luis, 205 miles away from Phoenix, 2,250 inmates. Florence West, another one that's in Florence. It's a private facility, 67 miles away from Phoenix, 250 inmates there, mostly DUI and return to custody. CACF is a sex offender unit that's run by the Geo Group, 67 miles away from Phoenix, in Florence, also 1,280 inmates. ASPC Moran is on the north side of Tucson. It's about 100 miles south of Phoenix, 500 inmates, run by Management and Training Corp. ASPC Red Rock, run by Core Civic, 67 miles south of Phoenix in the lovely town of Eloy, 2,000 inmates in one housing unit. Now, here's what I want you to pay attention to, is that these complexes are like little fiefdoms. They are autonomous, meaning that they're standalone within the Department of Corrections. And each and every one of them has their own hierarchy within the Department of Corrections. So when we talk about Lewis Complex, we talk about Perryville Complex, or we're talking about Tucson Complex, what we're actually talking about is a system of housing units on different yards that are labeled differently, that have their own unit level hierarchies, and then there's a complex level hierarchy. And it's a paramilitary, the operation. The Arizona Department of Corrections runs a paramilitary operation, meaning that they have captains, lieutenants, and sergeants and all that stuff. And so each one of these are an autonomous unit within the Arizona Department of Corrections.